Arsenal right now. We're going to start with their first goal, OK, because we didn't show a replay in that in that clip there. But, Darragh, let's just take us back to what we were talking about this time yesterday. Antoine Semenyo's second goal for Manchester City against Newcastle, which was ruled out after a 6-minute VAR check. Let's just remind everybody of what happened in that game. And, Darragh, remind viewers who weren't watching yesterday your thoughts on this.
Should have been allowed, wasted 6 minutes.
Yeah, because Haaland was just offside, but was deemed to be interfering with play and stopping Malik Thiaw or Nick Pope from getting to the ball. And that goal, after a 6-minute VAR check, was ruled out. Now, let's have a look at the first goal last night, OK? So, Gyokeres is technically offside here, but deemed not to be impacting the defender's ability to clear the ball. The goal was given.
The memo went out.
About this, Darragh.
Yeah, the memo went out. Obviously, look, this is about referee's decision, and that didn't need a massive VAR. Look, it's a perfectly good goal.
If that had, I mean, the night, but what's the difference though? Because that seems exactly the same. So you think
that's
they're
the problem.
that they're accepting that they made a mistake at St James's
Park?
Yeah,
I do. I think they've basically got together. It was probably a conference call amongst the referees and the head of the referee, and going, listen, this is about the referee's call. If the referee hasn't disallowed the goal, we don't want VAR taking goals away unless it's clear and obvious. There was nothing clear and obvious. In the Man City game, nothing clear and obvious there. Like I said, goals like that are scored every weekend in the EFL, and there's absolutely no controversy. Do you see anybody putting their hands up, appealing for anything?
Same the night before.
Yeah, because they realise that's football. And that's where VAR is taking the oxygen out of the room a little bit.
To give sort of one defence to it again is that the Chelsea defender there didn't actually seem to ever have his eyes on the ball. No. I'm not convinced Malik Thiaw did either.
Yeah.
But was there maybe they haven't had this conference call, maybe they haven't had
no,
this direct...
They have. I'll tell you why I know they have. Because every VAR decision, including the Chelsea second goal, where you were worried, oh my, was the goalkeeper interfered with, was like 60 seconds. It was almost 60 to 90 seconds where they made like quick call. It didn't get dragged out. It wasn't convoluted. It didn't carry on. Something has happened. There was definitely 100% conversations went out and said, prime time, League Cup, we kind of messed up tonight. Let's make sure we don't do it with the next game.
So do we praise the referees for getting it right, or do we say, where's the consistency?
Owners, players, everyone in media love to hammer referees, and it's one of the toughest jobs in the game, and particularly if you're in a VAR booth and all the pressure's on you, praise them. Let's praise them for getting it right. It's just wish it was 2 days in a row where they got it right.
Right. OK. Well, talking of praise, what about Victor Gyokeres? A goal and an assist.
Phenomenal.
He has had his critics.
Yes.
This must at least help get them off his back.
Yeah, look, strikers, it's one of the toughest jobs in the team, and you're judged on goals. And he was a big money signing. We know how well he did when he was playing for Coventry at a lower level, and he's obviously gone off and made his name then again.
Sporting was brilliant.
Sporting in Portugal. He's a good player. They could be a terrific player. And I think the biggest advantage for Arsenal is the amount of attention he gets. And it leaves that space for your Sakas of the world to run into. Arsenal aren't driven by, and we've always said this, they need to have a Golden Boot winner. They need someone with 30, 40 goals. Well, the top of the league, they were phenomenal last night. They look unbeatable. They've got a superb defence, and they haven't got a prolific striker yet, and it's not stopping them. So I think he's grown into the role. He's got 8 goals. It's not prolific, but I think you asked me the question, is he kind of a hit or a bust? He's like that on the way up. There is a player in there, and I think he's a confidence player. And you'd like to think, late in the season, tired defences, I think he'll score a lot of goals.
Well, he definitely is doing things to help the team, all right? 100%. We've got a graphic we can show you here. I'll have to explain it, all right, because it is quite difficult to word this graphic, OK? But what that means there, in simple English, is that he is the most tightly marked player in the Premier League this season. That's probably the best way I can put it, all right? So if he's doing that and Arsenal are winning every game, surely he is doing his job. And the way he set up Zubimendi, you can see how tightly marked he was, and he's still...
Technically, great pass, the space. When you get players like that in your team, yes, you love a striker who scores 20, 30, 40 goals. But at the end of the day, if he's taking that attention away, and Arsenal have got so much, attacking, goals in so many other areas, that's good for the team, it's good for business. It's why they are where they are. So, but in time you will see, and I said to you, February, March onwards, and people get tired, and he'll be up there as like one of the signings of the season. He's got 8 goals, he's playing this role, he's like an unsung hero. The fact that you throw us at 50, 60, 70 million behind, it's a bit like Isak. Obviously he's injuries, he's got 2 goals, he was the biggest signing in the summer. Straight away, if he doesn't win the Golden Boot, doesn't get 35 goals, he's going to be a bust. it's not always about that, is it? So, you know, if they end up winning the double, title, Champions League, whatever else, and he ends up with 11, 12 goals, 6 assists, is anyone going to remember?
I think Arsenal fans will be happy with the title, certainly.
100%.
Here's a debate that's been going on for a long time when it comes to strikers.
Sure.
At the moment, most clubs, especially Arsenal included, will have a left footer on the right,
Yep.
a right footer on the left. Okay.
Yep.
How much does that impact a striker? Because if
Yeah.
you've got a left foot on the left and a right foot on the right, you look up, you straight away, you get the ball to the striker as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Cutting in onto your
the
stronger
inversions
foot,
and everything
you can go
else.
yourself, you can lay it off.
Yeah, there has to be a
rather
lot more. There has to be a lot more patience for your number 9 when you're playing with strikers coming in all of the time instead of going out wide and putting the ball into the box. It really is down to style of play. It's also about, are you a possession-based team? Are you playing low-block teams? What kind of strike you are, your movements? Look, we can also argue the best in the world, the Ronaldos, the Messis, never had a problem scoring a goal a game. But you could also judge, well, they didn't play in the Premier League all the time. You know, Ronaldo did through periods of his career. It's, you know, we have to give credit to people like Mo Salah, who's not a traditional number 9, and you look at his data and his record, and whilst he not always play the best player, he's always getting goals, he's always getting assists. It does come down to styles and formations, and that's why you see it. I still think an Eddie Howe way of playing is different to an Arteta way of playing. And I think the big fella they got at Newcastle they bought will end up scoring a lot of goals based on the style of how Eddie Howe plays.
And they do tend to play a right footer on the right-hand side, in fairness.
Correct.
In-depth on Chelsea at 11 o'clock, but just a quick one on Liam Rossini, first home game in charge.
Yep.
Do you see positive signs or reality check?
No, positive signs. Probably a bit of both. I mean, you know, he's a big boy. He realised that, you know, it's not going to be all perfect. He's not going to win every game and smash teams to bits. What he would have liked is the response from his team at going 2-0 down. You know, you're playing the best team probably in England at the moment, and you're under pressure, and it's your first home game per se in a big event like the League Cup, and they could have been out of it. But they go now to the Emirates where they're only out of it by 1 goal. Chelsea's a good team. Under him, they're going to be a very good team. I like the style. I like the way they played. I like some of the younger players. And, you know, that was a baptism of fire for him, as well as his first Premier League game being his first Champions League game being. But as an advert for the product, it was a great game to watch last night. It was end-to-end. You could probably be a bit critical about goalkeepers, but the rest of the football was fantastic.
Now, good morning, Toby. First of all, let's start with Gyokeres. What did you think of his performance, and what have you made of his season so far?
Morning, Tom. Morning, Dara. Yeah, good question. I mean, his physicality has always been his strength. We know that he's not a touch-tight Ekatike or someone like that that's going to be able to dribble around a player or anything like that. But being a bulldozer, being a physical player and dragging away players is something that really is his strength. What I would say is I think over the past few months, past couple of months since his injury, I think that's been weaning a little bit. And I do think that, you know, I actually feel like a bit of a fool. I made a call on our weekly podcast that I think he should start getting confidence from the bench, coming off the bench now that Jesus Havertz are back, but actually giving him that week off and him not playing against Portsmouth, his physicality was there in abundance last night, and he looked every bit the player I think we thought he could. There's still a few things obviously he could improve, and it's going to be about consistency. And what I would say is I think he's always worked really hard, and there's no fan that's upset with his work ethic or anything like that. I think there's a bit of a quality drop there in some scenarios that we know is there. It's just how we can get it out of him. So I felt a bit sorry for him. I think when he scored a goal, he almost looked a little bit shy going to fans to celebrate. You can see the other fans really try and make him part of the group and pushing him over like you're seeing on the screen now, actually. So I just hope he can really be part of that group and kick on.
It was nice to see him score. He also got an assist as well for Martin Zubamendi. This season, quite often on this show, we've asked who is the signing of the season. Can you make a case for Martin Zubamendi?
Definitely. There's so much great about him that I didn't expect. He's one of those players that, you know, you get excited over the summer and you look on YouTube or whatever, and I think you don't quite know what you're going to get, and it's not really a highlight reel kind of player. You know, when you sign these, you know, deep sixes, deep playmakers,